Hello, and welcome to Outtakes Jr., the mini podcast.
With
Matt
and Dan. And today it's all about Rocky versus the Terminator, Rambo versus Commando, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Hey.
Who done it best?
Who to go?
In a previous episode, we kind of brought it up briefly, but there's a lot to dig into with these two. Right, Matthew?
What's a reverse mountain? There's a canyon of content that we need to explore when it comes to these two titans. I had a question. Who's tougher? Who would win in a fight? Arnold or Sly? We couldn't get the answer to that question because they're geriatric at this point and being pumped with that diet drug.
Ozempic?
We can't answer that question now because they're being pumped with Ozempic.
Maybe we'll explore that at some point, a modern day current fight between them. That's an interesting, but we're talking about in their prime, correct?
Not only are we talking about in their prime, but we're also talking about them as fictional beings, okay? These are not the actual pampered movie stars.
Character versus character.
This is a character versus character conversation. We have some rules that we've mapped out, right, Dan?
Yes, you have.
Did you know that?
That's why I said you have.
I have done it, meaning I take all the credit and get all the blame. Dan has put literally no thought into this podcast, and he just flies from the seat of his pants.
I live in the moment, Matthew. I live in the moment.
Dan and I have chosen from a pool of eligible movie characters to see who is toughest, can win in a fight, right? So, Dan, do you want to hear some of the key rules? We're going to choose between their human movie roles, right? So no Terminator, no. Has Sly ever even played a non-human? Demolition Man? I guess he was human, right?
Demolition Man, he was still human. We're not going to count the time he played Winnie the Pooh. That's out.
What about the ants? How about when he was the ant soldier? He was pretty tough in that as the voice of the ant in the 1998 movie Ants.
We all love our ants. They're not human.
Yeah, so we're not gonna go for any ants. No Terminators.
Well, Arnold's played Terminator 80,000 times. We're also not going to count Sylvester Stallone's role in Spy Kids.
That's a supervillain. Doesn't count. Those are all the disqualifiers. Mostly 80s stuff. We're going to do a fight card of what their strengths, weaknesses are, and then debate to see who would win. If the Nazis or World War III happens, why didn't they just have Arnold Schwarzenegger come in and defeat the Nazis? Why didn't they have Sly Stallone come in and just beat everybody up? Now, I know the answer to the Arnold question is because he's Austrian. He was on the other side.
Well, his father was.
Yep, he talks about that openly and earnestly, but it makes him a lot less tough when he does that. So, don't really like that. So let's throw out some roles and cut some people back. Commando, Predator, Running Man, True Lies, Total Recall, and Twins. Julius from Twins, John Matrix from Commando, Dutch from Predator, Harry Tasker from True Lies. Those are some of the that's from some of the pool. Who would you like to speak about or maybe kind of consider?
Well, Commando is definitely an interesting one because I believe I'm correct about this, but I think Commando was literally just made as an Arnold Schwarzenegger vehicle to be like a Rambo movie.
So in the movie logic of the film, what did he do that was so incredible? He he basically killed every single person that came into his contact. What was the body count in that movie?
I'm going to guess. How about 80?
Oh, 81.
Whew, I was close.
81 people. What are you going to say for Rambo's body count?
Okay, I'm going to go with 92 for Rambo Part 2.
My guess would have been Rambo Part 3 was the highest body count because he went ham in Rambo Part 3. I think because Commando was after Rambo, Arnold was probably like, triple it. Whatever he kills, I triple.
And hire the same guys. I want to kill the same actor in a worse way.
Over and over and over.
If he breaks their neck, I want to break their back.
Now. Yeah, they have a whole pool of guys that they just kill over and over. And this Harry's been in therapy for many years because he just can't get over. He's like, why did Arnold just want to kill me? Okay, so First Blood Part 1. How many? What's his body count? What do you think?
30.
1.
I'm trying to think of how many cops are chasing him through the woods. So like 10, 20?
One. It's one.
Oh, he only killed one?
It's one.
I haven't seen that movie in too long,
He only
man.
killed one.
Man, I thought with all the booby traps and everything, I thought more of them died.
Yeah, did he kill Brian Dennehy? Let's see. Oh, it was an accident. Rambo 2 was arguably a disgusting travesty in light of First Blood. Ooh. Let me talk on Reddit. Fucking Reddit. Fuck you. Yeah, anyways, one. Rambo First Blood Part 2, 32. So, yeah, he was like, double it. I don't know math. 80 is more than 30.
If you fill in the other side of the 3, it's an 8.
Schwarzenegger math. Now. But you know what, Dan? Killing people doesn't make you tough, right? But it also does. Commando is a good one. Commando, he does a lot of tricks, right? What are some of the craziest things he did in Commando? Did he throw like an axe or something at his daughter's captor?
Dude, he killed 81 guys. I don't think he even repeated the way he killed them. It was like a creative kill every fucking time.
Yeah. I think the best one was when he threw the axe at the helicopter from the ground. Do I have that right?
You're reminding me of so many of those catchphrases, especially from Arnold.
Yeah.
I remember watching Running Man. You remember that one?
Yeah, we watched it together. You showed me Running Man.
Yeah, I remember there was one guy, Arnold chopped him in half with his own chainsaw, and then he ran to catch up with the woman, and she's like, "Oh, what happened to that guy?" And he's like, He had to split.
He had to split.
Number
of bad guys killed by Rambo with his shirt on.
With his shirt on?
With his shirt on, yeah.
Oh, these are going to be some low numbers.
Rambo 2 was 12 versus 45 and 46. Number of bad guys killed by Rambo, no matter how attired. 58, 78, 83. He killed 113 in Rambo 4, okay? Number of sex scenes, 0, 0, 0, 0. Wow. So they weren't, I guess I would also factor a tough guy, sex appeal, sexiness. Why couldn't they be sexy? Why was Arnold never? Let's go into that later because I want to keep moving through some of the characters. Okay, so Rambo and Commando so far seem like pretty strong contenders to fight, but I don't want to nominate them yet. I want to vet them a little bit more, okay? All right.
Well,
all right.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you want to move on to some other characters as well. And one of those characters that I think is really important to talk about, of course, is Rocky. And you know, I've seen Stallone do a lot of interviews. He knows a lot about technique and boxing just from doing those movies. He's like immersed himself in that world, going to boxing gyms and proper form, how to lay a guy out and everything like that. That's a pretty tough guy thing. Like, Hey, I actually know how to box. I know how to do this. You want to lay a guy out, you got to hit from the hip. You got to really swing your whole body weight over to him.
That's how winning is done, Adrian. I agree. He's a lethal weapon. He's a lethal weapon with a heart of gold. Rocky's my sentimental favorite. I don't want to bury the lead, but I think that he's got the heart. He won the heavyweight championship when he fought cancer. He saved Russia. He ended the Cold War.
And not only that, I mean, Drago was basically a machine, and he killed Apollo, He
killed him.
Rocky had to go in, not only get vengeance, but he suffered great deal of injury and brain damage from that fight, but he still won because he just wouldn't give up.
Yeah, he wouldn't give up. And his brain synapses were just not firing, and he couldn't feel pain like a normal human. So he could just plug away and get whacked a bunch of times and still kind of be brain dead, but still functional, right?
Yeah. Luckily, he could still speak to people without them realizing the amount of brain damage. Before the fight and after the fight, he just kind of, wait in there. Where's my rubber ball? I got to bounce it on the sidewalk. That's what makes me calm down.
Where's Buckus? Buckus has been dead for the last 30 years, Rock. Oh. What's my son's name? His son's name was Rocky Jr., and then it changed into Robert. He forgot his son's old name. But these are all factors in his favor for being tough.
I agree.
So that's my nominee. I just want to go through a few more. There's the Rambo. There's the over-the-top arm wrestling. Do you think arm wrestling is a tough guy thing? Lincoln Hawk over the top.
You know what? I love that movie. I have seen it. I love that fucking movie.
Yeah.
He's a tough guy. But I think besides the Rocky series, there is one other Stallone movie that I probably watched 20 times, and it's one of my favorites, Cliffhanger.
I was about to bring it up. I love that movie. I think he was probably more ripped. I salivated over his beautiful body. It was tanned and sculpted. I didn't salivate in a way. It was like my action figure. He was his most action figure in maybe Rambo or Rocky 3, but in Cliffhanger he had aged. He was aged, and he had the kind of like body strength to be able to like do all those crazy rock climbing moves and that grip strength, right? The grip strength was crazy.
As soon as I saw him grab on to one handhold and then yank his body up like a jump and then grab the next one without using his legs, I mean, that shot alone is, amazing.
It is amazing. And let's not forget, though, that he is about 5'3". So he weighs like, 70 pounds. But here's my take, though, on Cliffhanger, on Gabe Walker. His name is Gabe Walker. He's a big wimp. Big wimp. Not a fighter. He gets his ass. He's like so afraid of John Lithgow. I mean, I get it. Like John Lithgow is like a principal, He's like, you're going to the principal's office he's like, I'm in trouble. The principal getting hijacked.
Number one, John Lithgow was also armed.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of the surviving of that cold elements in the mountain and swimming under the ice, that's tough guy shit.
Yeah. And we don't need to like define it as you need to be tough of like, I can beat you up, but it's the endurance. And tough he could be a tough mutter and you don't have to be a fighter.
I think the thing that started this whole conversation off was who would win in a fight. But if you got the endurance, you can tire the other guy out. You know what I mean?
That cancels out when you think of Rocky has got the endurance and is willing to get punched and give a punch, right?
Well, Rocky's by far better in a fight. I needed to mention Cliffhanger because I love it so much.
I love it too. Stallone chose to be so kind of passive in terms of not wanting to engage in any guns, and that was the point of the movie. Stallone's like, for Cliffhanger, I'm going to actually utilize my guile.
I'm gonna outsmart him.
What do you think his actual voice is?
Well, I've seen him on the Tonight Show and shit, and he's like, hey, when he's Rocky, he's a little bit more like mush mouth and in real life he's like, hey, I don't really talk with a mush mouth. That's exaggerated for Rocky. And it's like, it's kind of discernible.
Yeah. Yeah. He's definitely been underestimated because of his birth thing. What is it? I want to make sure
They were having trouble getting me out of my mother's birth canal when I was being born, and they didn't have forceps back in the day, so the doctor reached in and he hooked my lip with his finger like a fish hook and just yanked me out of there. Back in those days, they didn't have them forceps, so the doc, he just reached right in there and he hooked me on the lip with his finger like a fish hook and just yanked. My mouth been this way ever since.
And we're not holding that against you for a fight, Rock.
They did the same thing to Popeye.
Exactly. You want Rambo or you want Rocky? My vote is Rocky, but you choose.
I don't know. Maybe I will take Rambo. He knows a lot of lethal fucking shit. And then on the Arnold side, I don't think I heard on the list. Did you have Conan the Barbarian on there?
No, I didn't. Yeah, he's a human. Yeah, he's a human. I've never seen Conan the Barbarian.
Well, do yourself a favor. It's off James Earl Jones's head.
So are we considering Conan?
I say we are considering Conan. Conan was like Arnold's big breakthrough role, right? He actually lost weight and some muscle mass to play Conan so that he would have greater flexibility and be able to swing the sword around in a realistic way. Still jacked as
Arnold losing muscle for a role, forget it. I'm a real
made him a better
Conan
fighter.
Guy. Okay.
In top full muscle mass form, he could barely move. He had to do it so he could swing a sword around while he was riding on a horse. And he had a sex scene in that.
All right. Okay. All right. The sex appeal is important. All right. Dan, Okay, that's a plus. That's a plus. Okay, so Conan, Commando, John Matrix, Dutch, Harry Tasker, kind of redundant. He's a spy in True Lies. He's a good liar, I guess. That I don't know if that would help you in a fight. A little bit long in the tooth. He's a dad. He has something to lose. I'm gonna give you my choice. So, how about you give me your choice? Do you have a nominee out of those?
Conan the Barbarian. I'll go with that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go. So here's my pick. Julius from Twins. My favorite Arnold role by far. His first real comedic role. We're in on the joke. He played it with aplomb. It was something that probably made Sylvester Stallone so jealous.
I'm also a huge fan of Danny DeVito as well. All right. You don't have to call the guy a plum.
Well, do you know that Sylvester Stallone was offered the Danny DeVito role? Arnold was like, listen, you want to be in the movie with me? I got this new movie. It's called Twins. We're twins, Sly. It's going to be great. And you're just the crap left over. He wanted to be the Danny DeVito role. Sly didn't quite like that. It was another little practical joke. There's a smile.
But you're so tiny. Come on, it works.
Yeah, it works. And just
believe
Stallone's
me,
just
people
like
will love it.
Stallone is just like Ryan from The Office after he gets fired, just putting it on the list. Another gripe. Calls his agent. Every time that Arnold trolls him, he calls his agent like a little baby. This is Stallone I'm talking about. So here's my argument for Julius Benedict. Okay. First of all, genetically engineered perfection. Was raised in the most fertile, loving environment, given all the best nutrients and all the advantages. 6'2", 245 pounds of genetic excellence. He is the lab experiment of super sperm. Yet he beats up thugs, or he beats up bad guys by accident. Okay? He can lift a car. He tossed a guy into the dumpster with one arm. He does not like to fight. He does not believe in violence, only when he has to. He's Gandhi, basically. He's if Gandhi got super ripped and handsome and got his teeth like a little bit spaced out. He reads, he meditates, he is a virgin, so like that's got to count for something. And he's also a great brother and great friend. My favorite quote from Julius Benedict was, "I did nothing. The pavement was his enemy."
I did nothing. The pavement was his enemy.
Perfect. And then my favorite line also was, "You were the crap they left over." And then Julius throws the guy across the room and basically beats the living hell out of him.
Wow, don't talk about my brother like that.
Yes. He saves his lady friend. He's tender. I would think he's a jiu-jitsu expert. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, believe that is correct.
So that's going to be my nominee. I nominate Julius Benedict, but you could strike me down.
No, excellent pick.
Okay, so we're going to go Julius Benedict versus Rambo, correct? Do we want Rambo or Rocky? Because I have both of the comps.
Okay, I would love to see Julius versus Rocky.
Me too. That's kind of where I came out on. I think that Julius v. Rocky they both have the heart, and one has extreme amount of intelligence but less experience. And the other one has not so much intelligence, but a lot of experience. Rocky's been in hundreds of fights. Julius, I don't think, was ever in a fight until he came to America.
I believe you're correct. Except for, like, sparring in jiu-jitsu or whatever.
This is a great match. Here's the comp. Ready? Julius, 6'2", 245 pounds. Pain tolerance, took a pipe to the head, didn't hurt him. Stamina, probably gets tired emotionally. Other than that, I mean, his calves were looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting style, probably Israeli street fighting. Now, Rocky, you want to give a little stats there, Dan? How tall?
4'8".
I believe he's in the movie. What do you think? Do you think he was listed at?
I know they even called it out too. In this corner, 5'10".
According to Wikipedia, he was 5'11", listed as 5'11".
I thought it was 5'10", but okay.
Yeah, I thought it was either 5'10" or 5'11". But this was during the Thunder Lips fight where Hulk Hogan was listed as like 6'7"
or something like that.
I met Hulk Hogan and he's like 6'2", if that. Don't ever meet your heroes. So listed as 5'11", but you know what? He's wearing heels. The guy is like 5'8". Let's say he's 5'9" in the movie.
Those boxing boots have lifts in them for sure.
Okay. And 100 and I think they say he's like 200 pounds in the movie.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some bullshit. A fighting experience. What Rocky are we going to go with? Are we going to go with Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, Rocky 5, Rocky Balboa, Creed Rocky? Which one Rocky do you want to choose?
I say Rocky 4 before he fights Drago. Like getting back into shape. I didn't want to do it again, but I'm gonna do it again.
You killed my best friend.
Because you know what? He got into incredible prime fighting condition, but he also had all the experience behind him after, the first 3 films.
Yeah, and he trained in the fucking Siberia. He was running up mountains. He had to avenge his friend. He was in a pretty like zen state. Drago is a good stand-in for Julius because Julius is the nice Drago, or maybe they're both nice. Rocky is preparing for Julius basically to fight Julius in Rocky 4.
Yeah.
Did you know, and I knew this without looking at the trivia, but thanks IMDb, there's no fucking mystery anymore in this world, that Sylvester Stallone had to basically be hospitalized because he got punched so hard by Dolph Lundgren?
I had heard that.
Sylvester Stallone told everyone, he made Dolph Lundgren put a Arnold mask on. Hit me for real. And Dolph Lundgren's like, I'm a scientist. I don't, my IQ is 230. I don't know. Here, and then, gut check. Boom. Got fucked up. Again, he called his agent. This is bullshit, Mike. His agent's name was Rob. Rob, this is bullshit. Dolph punched me and it wasn't fair. I'm training here. I'm growing a beard and I look great. And where's the tanning beds? I need another tanning bed for Russia. They weren't really in Russia. I think they were in Canada.
Michigan or something?
They're in Michigan. And they're in the Panhandle and they just green screened it. I must beg you. What was his name in it? Drago.
Ivan Drago.
Oh, I thought you were going to make a point about Drago.
Just telling you his name.
Okay, so if we square them off, so Rocky is basically prepared for Julius. Is there a way that Julius can come out on this with any real chance? Because Rocky one-on-one is going to be very motivated to beat Julius. He's going to be prepping for this for months. Now, Julius, I don't think is really going to be prepping in the same way. He doesn't have the same chip on his shoulder. Is that an advantage or a disadvantage?
Having a chip on the shoulder, is that an advantage? That's what you're asking?
Yeah, it's the preparation that Rocky's doing an advantage in the fight.
Yeah, it's called conditioning for a reason, brah.
Okay, but Julius is perfectly conditioned all the time. That's his life. He lives his life like a monk. So he's AB ready, right?
True.
So, and also, I could see Rocky I could see Stallone's Rocky being a little overexcited. He's not going to let the fight come to him. This is kind of the final question that we need to answer is how do you see this fight playing out? You're up.
Oh, it's in Europe?
It could be at any venue you want. Planet Hollywood. It's at Planet Hollywood. I
kind of, you know what? You might think this is a lack of imagination, but I kind of see it playing out much as the actual Drago fight did, Big, powerful, superhuman guy, almost beating the shit out of Rocky, but Rocky pulling through in the end.
Okay. Let's say that this is not a boxing match because it's too easy of an answer if it's a boxing match. He knows all the rules. I think there is a scenario, and I'm going to stick by this scenario, where let's say it's a street fight and there's a misunderstanding. Rocky thinks that Julius killed his twin brother, Danny DeVito. Okay? And he's really pissed. And Julius says, "You're mistaken. My brother has been killed. That's my brother." And Rocky's like, Apollo is Danny DeVito now. And that was my crap that you left over. And so they're on the street and they both think that they killed each other's twin. All right? They both think that they killed each other's twin. And Rocky's rage, the rage that he had, I want to just memorialize. Not a good scene for him. That Rocky.
All right. Your scenario is noted. I don't think we need to keep explaining it.
No, we're not done with the scenario. They think that they killed each other's brother. They're on the street.
Somebody killed Danny DeVito. They both think that that's their twin.
That's right. That's right.
Uh-huh.
Who is going to harness that tragedy, that trauma better in a fight? Okay. I see it as Rocky going out, coming up, confronting old Julius with his patented left hook. Julius goes Matrix style around, and he says, and he kind of does a prayer. He does a prayer for old Danny DeVito, and he puts him in a chokehold and puts the little mini man that Rocky really is. He's just a little guy, and puts him into a chokehold submission and puts him to bed. And then when they wake up, they realize that Danny DeVito's like, I was playing a practical joke. I just wanted to see who would win in a fight, you or Schwarzenegger. It's all a game, guys. You guys are actors, and we all just wanted to answer the question, who would win in a fight? Welcome to your life. And then they go home and have some ice cream. Plausible?
You just wasted everybody's time so bad.
Wasted your time. You're supposed to be working.
Fucking troll.
I want to fight you right now. That's how mad I am. Fuck you, you son of a bitch. Just wait. Would that be better? Would it be better for this all to be ignored or to have like tons of hate and vitriol about my take? So I'm going to stand behind that Julius would beat Rocky in a surprise upset where the fight would end very quickly. It would be a de-escalation, and they have ice cream at the end.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good opinion for you to have.
Any other thoughts on it?
Well, Rocky is from the streets. He can also street fight. He street fought Tommy Gunn.
You're right. I forgot about that. He wiped the floor with him.
Yeah.
He schooled his ass.
You were like a brother to me.
He was dancing. Again, he made Tommy Gunn put on an Arnold mask and had his way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do think that Tommy Gunn had HIV at that point and he was hobbled, but I take your point. Okay, that's a good point. All right, so I think the final consensus is that Rocky would beat Julius.
I think so.
I don't see Julius losing.
Yeah, but he does.
Can he have ice cream after?
He can. But he opts for frozen yogurt.
Right, that's smart. How about he gets skyr, which is an Icelandic yogurt, quite healthy and kind of progressive.
Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate. Yeah.
Then Rambo comes out of the woodwork and just point blank shoots him in the head. Like, that's not American.
Yeah, but then we realize it's not Julian. It's the Terminator, and the bullet doesn't go through because he's made of fucking metal. Ooh. And we can just keep going with this forever.
Dun, 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 dun. Yes. Well, Dan, like the Cold War, like the Indian and Pakistan conflict, like the divisiveness that is in America, we've solved a huge, huge problem here. We have cured cancer, basically. I just don't think that Arnold would ever get beat up by Sly. He's a little man syndrome. Arnold over Sly, even though I like Sly's movies better.
Okay.
I don't know why I have to get that in there. So that's the end of our podcast. Thank you for joining us on our mini podcast that turned into a whole full-blown episode.
All right.
Any parting thoughts?
I'm a fan of both of those guys and their movies, and I think they're both great, but it's fun to think about. That's it.
It is. It's a brain tickler. And see you next time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I said that. And I know you could beat me up in a fight, and I don't ever want to fight with you. So we won't. We'll be best friends.
So we won't. Yeah.
So we won't.
We
we'll be
won't
best friends.
Fight. Exactly.
We won't fight. Yep. We won't.
That's what I fucking said.
I'm going to kill you. Okay. See you, Dan. Keep spiraling. Bye.